Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome once again to another Billionaire Talk. Welcome to another Billionaire Talk. September 7th, 2020, Labor Day weekend. Labor Day, Monday. Trust and hope you guys having an awesome day, awesome weekend, winding down. I know in certain areas, kids are going back to school, virtually, and some actually going back person to person, and some being shut down as well as quick as they go back. So again, welcome to another edition of Billionaire Talk. 7 p.m. Eastern. Come to you guys Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We just gonna chop it up for about 20, 30 minutes or so. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is what is Jim Crow laws. Um, this is something that you may have heard or you may know what it is. And this is something that came to my mind the other day. And if this is your first time, joining in with the Billionaire Talk, like I said, I love dialogue. What I'm, attempting to do is to, teach, empower, motivate, inspire. And how I am attempting to do that is to kind of go back in history or either the current news but I'm a personal firm believer that you got to go back, so you can kind of see where we at, because a lot of things that's going on, especially in our community, the Black community, is a repeat cycle. So we have to go back to history. I love history. I'm a avid reader, researching. I love, going back and I actually literally do it like every day. Just researching things and learning things, and I constantly, keep my mind open to learning things, and I be just seeing some things, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't even know anything about that. Could be a certain part of history, like the Jim Crow laws or Black Wall Street or whatever, and they're like, oh, I didn't even know about that, and just learning something new with that every day. What's good, brother James Moore? What's good? Welcome once again. Welcome. Glad you here to share this space with me. So again, the Jim Crow laws. I'm gonna be reading a little bit from my phone, so please excuse me so I get my facts straight. The Jim Crow laws were basically a set of statutes that were placed for black folks after slavery, and what they were was different things to, I guess, to keep us separated and segregated in this country. Mostly, you would, when you hear about the Jim Crow laws, they were more in the South, but they were actually laws around across the country. The name Jim Crow comes from a character in the minstrel shows. The minstrel shows were shows that Europeans had, it was all over Europe, even America, these variety shows, and they wore blackface. And what I mean by blackface, they paint their face so they can be like black folks. And, not only did they do that, but they kind of made mock or fun of black people. So that's where the name Jim Crow comes from. One of the characters in the minstrel show. So Jim Crow laws. Um, So the Jim Crow laws were basically there, like I say, to segregate, and they came into play after slavery, after the war, Civil War, and they lasted roughly for about 100 years. And when I say different statutes and laws, it was as you may know that we had separate dining facilities like restaurants. We had separate water fountains. It was department stores that we couldn't go in a certain way. Restaurants we had to go in through the back and so on and so on. And these days, personally, I've spoken with my older relatives, namely my father. He my father's 85 years old, and we're in Richmond, Virginia, growing up in the South in Richmond, Virginia. He talks about certain things, how they were when he was growing up, and even my aunts, who are transitioning on now, speaking to them, and they were just saying how things were, back in those times. And it really just make you even though things aren't perfect, but you have a sense of gratitude, and you're thankful for the way things are now. And like I said, they're far from perfect, but certain things that we can do. And I'm a firm believer. Yes, racism is out there alive and well, but I'm a firm believer that we are in more position now than ever in history to be that multi-millionaire, to be that billionaire, and so forth and so on. And even we had our ancestors a lot, we produce a lot of millionaires right outside of slavery, years removed from slavery. And they started with nothing. And if you want to, as they call it now, self-made, they were self-made. And one of their biggest ways that they became millionaires and so forth and so on was land. And I talked about that in a lot of Billionaire Talk sessions. Land was their biggest thing, that how they acquire their wealth. And it goes back to now in 2020 of, we have to think about that, how they did it. And, I think it still holds true today. So again, getting back to the Jim Crow laws. So these are laws that was, what statutes actually, was in different towns, and they was, roughly 100 years. They were right after slavery. What's good, April? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Glad you can join us. Glad you can join us. So these Jim Crow laws was out there, roughly for about 100 years, and right out of slavery, all the way to the civil rights movement. So Jay Moore, my grandparent and parent used to always talk about Broad Street Store. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Richmond, Virginia. Yes, and that's actually the conversation I had with my parents. With certain stores that, well, the downtown stores. You weren't able to the shopping like that, or your shopping was restricted. Yes indeed, yes indeed. So again, these went on for about 100 years until the civil rights movement, came along, and and even this went into different like when you got caught with certain things like jail sentences, and just little silly crimes, and they was able to stop you, and the crazy part about it is like this is somewhat what's going on now with us, with the stops and the phantom tail lights. I was actually stopped a few weeks back with a so-called tail light was out when I just got the tail light fixed, and a car inspected, a couple weeks prior to it, just a reason to be stopped. So how far have we come? I mean, it's this is crazy. how far have we come? But anyway, but back then, they were, throwing you in jail. Still today, actually, it ain't nothing really changed. They throw you in jail for simple laws and simple breaking of the laws, and if it went to trial, your jury was all white, and it was just a whole bunch of nonsense. And even on the more harsher penalties, you had people, unfortunately, that was dragged out their homes, lynched. I mean, it was very common and sad that you even had family members. You might have had an uncle, dad, or little boy who went to the store for a loaf of bread and never came back. And the horror of that, it was like certain situations that the family did. I mean, it was situations that it was trained to not even speak on it again. And I'm gonna get to that probably tomorrow when I talk about the Willie Lynch syndrome. So that's gonna be my topic on tomorrow. And when I talk about how families didn't talk about it, they knew it. And that's the the trauma and the oppression that they were in. They knew something happened to Uncle Earl or Daddy or whatever when he didn't come back when he supposed to came for that loaf of bread. And and lynchings were prevalent back then, and with the Jim Crow laws, these people were never, they never was accountable for it. They was never tried. And even if, I mean, it was a big, it was something big for them to even get to the accusations of getting arrested. I mean, that was just like huge. And once again, you know, how far have we come in 2020? And let me see what James Moore, being in a town with a job so they can put in jail to be placed on chain gangs for free labor. Yeah, I mean that was something else too. They could just yank them up and then pin them on a chain gang and free labor. I mean it was just whatever, whatever. And these was the quote the Jim Crow laws. And again, when I go back in history, I like to put out there and for people to think about how far have we come. Because again, they were putting people in jail, and it was a tremendous hurdle to get these people in front of a judge and so forth and so on. And look where we at now, 2020. With Breonna Taylor, I think it's been 100 and so odd days now that her the police who murdered her, they still out free. And you got so on, the brother Jacob Blake. And one of the biggest things that they doing, and they always do, is make that person so much of a criminal and discredit them. Even though this guy had a rap sheet, and he was there to, from what I understand, breaking an altercation up. And he was called. It's just so sketchy. But the point is, still there's no reason for that brother to get shot in the back 7 times. And I saw a video of him from his bed, and it was quite disturbing because what I felt with that is all right, brother. Thanks for dropping through. And enjoy your Labor Day and enjoy your weekend. James Moore. Come back, see us. We be here every day. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you for your dialogue and comment. So the brother Jacob Blake from Kenosha, Wisconsin, the brother who got shot in the back 7 times, who was paralyzed from the waist down. I saw that video, and you guys can catch it on any of your social media outlets and videos. And it disturbed me, and maybe it just me. What's good, Bree? What's good? He was so apologetic with he said. some things about talking to the young people about being wrong, and just different things of it was almost like apologetic, like he was in the wrong. I mean, that's what I got from it. And I'm a thinker. So did they get to him? Did they tell him to say these things? And because I didn't get a good feeling from that video at all. And it's like, it really disturbed me. So you guys can take a look at that video. It's all over social media. Video he got from his hospital bed and everything. Jacob Blake brother who got shot 7 times in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and again you still had Biden. Went to visit him, and 45 went to visit the authorities there. And trying to pressure. He's trying to pressure the National Guard. Bring the National Guard in and to control everything instead of looking at the real reason. So again, that's another story, another time. But again, these getting back to Jim Crow laws. So now you up on the civil rights movement, and it was a lot of protests against these certain laws. So that's when you have the different things like I'm still with Breeze. I'm Aaron, you're running, brother. I'm at work listening and trying to make sure that my facility is secure. Oh yeah, handle your job. Handle your job. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Um, so now you get into the civil rights movement. So now you have those historical figures like Martin Luther King, John Lewis, Abernathy, Jesse Jackson, you name it, Rosa Parks. Now they're protesting a lot of these laws, and keep in mind the Jim Crow laws were so they were called Southern laws, but they was actually all over, but up north, and that's why you had the big migration up north with a lot of people, a lot of black families. They weren't actually enforced a lot in some of the northern cities, and that's why a lot of black families did the big migration, right before the civil rights movement and during, because it was better up there, more easy to live because they weren't, like that as opposed to the South, Richmond, Mississippi, Carolinas, you name it, it wasn't like that. So moving on, civil rights movement, you had a Montgomery bus boycott, you had the sit-ins at the Woolworth counters, and I mean, there's so many that didn't even make the history books. So you had that, and most of it was came from young people, just like what's going on now in 2020. Um, a lot of college students. You had it here in Richmond, Virginia, Virginia Union. That was a famous one with them. Sit-ins here, and my mom talks about protest marches she did back in the day when she was in college. So that was her age group. My mom is like 78 years old, and just remarkable. And again, same thing going on here in 2020. So again, Jim Crow laws, and a lot of protests and different things. Same thing happening now. With King, and then you go with the March on Washington, and and it was a lot, with that, and they protest them law. So now you go into Lyndon B. Johnson, he was the president, and he signed in the civil rights bill that prohibited a lot of these laws, with statutes. It's called Jim Crow law, the statutes, and so now, you couldn't have segregated water fountains and the restaurants and different things like that. And when that happened, even though in a lot of southern cities they didn't comply immediately, and most of them actually didn't comply at all, early on, but it was actually a federal crime now to do it. And again, a lot of stuff still went on, with the lynchings and so forth, so on, but they didn't have it on paper now that you couldn't do it, but they, by law, you couldn't do it, but people still was doing it and doing anyway. Like I said, mainly in the southern cities. The northern behavior was a little bit better, even in the Jim Crow era. And one of the big mistakes in the era is that it was a southern law, but it was just wasn't um, actually prosecuted, or wasn't a big thing in the North, even though they did have certain situations, but it was more so, you found, the most of the laws that was really intact with the Jim Crow laws in the southern states. So again, moving on, with, you had the civil rights movement, and again, you had what it was called the Black Codes too. That was a extension of the Jim Crow laws, and they had even like the travel, for all you traveling, and this is something that my dad talks about too. We're in Richmond, Virginia, and this one when he was serving in the United States Air Force, how he drove from Virginia to San Antonio, Texas, and certain places that he could not um, stay, and he had to keep on driving, stay awake. And he talks about how he had to um, sleep on the side of the road. This was, I think, probably like had to been like early 50s, mid 50s. And that goes to what they have, they used to have what they call sundown towns. And actually, my research, I just found out that they still have sundown towns, and they talk about it. And this is a movie, I want to say it's on Netflix, or one of these streaming channels, Love Country, or Country, not Country Love, but Love Country. It's something that people have been talking about, but they talk about the sundown towns. It's a series, but the sundown town, and I researched this recently, come to find out, it's still some sundown towns in this country, and sundown towns were basically towns that black folks could not be in when the sun went down, and that was essential to the Jim Crow laws as well. And they even had intimidating signs, like, say if you're going into this town, like, they call Negroes, or some even call them niggers, could not, be here when the sun go down. So they were called Sundown Town. What's good, Divine Wisdom? Welcome, 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 welcome. Glad you could join. So Sundown Town was an extension of the Jim Crow laws. And come to find out, I want to say it's in Owl. It's a small town, Owl. I don't know the exact town, but it's a couple of towns that in 2020, and it's crazy, but they still have the sundown towns, and they even, they still have these things on the books, as far as black folks not being able to, what shouldn't be in town after the sundown or out, basically what it is, so it's almost like a curfew. So this is the same thing what my dad was talking about. And another thing with the situation with my dad, as he traveled from Virginia to San Antonio in the 1950s as a black man, and keep in mind, he was a military guy. So you talking about somebody who's fighting for this country. What's good, Ice Heart? What's good, Ice Heart? Thank you for joining. Yeah, I spoke to everybody. So if I miss anybody, please forgive me. I think I talked to Vine, Ice Heart. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So yeah, keep in mind, my dad, he was military at the time. You know, he's retired military, he fighting for this country, the whole nine. And it was certain places that he could not go as a black man in the 1950s. And this is just mind blowing, with that. So the story that he tells me, from Virginia to San Antonio, him traveling, and what's good, Sonia Beaver? What's good? What's good? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My old classmate. No, you're not old. I'm just saying my classmate, class of '88. He was in high school, Richmond, Virginia. So so my dad tells this story, about how he had to sleep on the side of the road and certain places that he could not go, and that gets into something that what they had too was the Green Book. The Green Book was, it was a travel book that was, it started with, a brother named Mr. Green. Yeah, this is your first time, Sonia, and welcome, welcome, and first and many more. I'll be here 7 p.m. Eastern every, Monday, Friday, actually. So thank you for joining. So the Green Book was presented by a brother named Mr. Green. I lose track of his first name. I get that for you guys. But the Green Book back then was for travel. So the Green Book had a list of different places, hotels, and not only hotels, but actually you had families that was had their homes out there for, in case you were traveling throughout the South, or throughout this country, and that you could stay. So it could have been, the Turner family in, you know Columbia, South Carolina. So this was a safe haven for travelers, and it was just so remarkable, with that, because it could have been a Turner family. We might have had an extra room, or what have you, but our doors are open. Our doors are open, for the Jones, Mr. Jones coming down from wherever, and he had to pass through. So our home was listed in that Green Book, and so I mean, but it was just so crazy how um, these are the things that our grandparents and parents went through. And like I said, this is my father, and my father, he didn't talk about anything about staying with anybody, but I just remember the story that he would tell, and he still tell, he probably would tell to this day, that sleeping on the side of the road. And I think he said it could have been maybe like good 20 some hours, just to get from Virginia to San Antonio. Was divine wisdom. My device is so slow. I can't wait to get my computer loaded. That's good. That's good. So he talks about just being on the side of the road, and sleeping, in a safe spot, and parking lots is safe. But it was just so crazy. But when you talking about, but this is a person, again, like I say, he was military, and he was fighting for this country, and being a black man, he had to worry about his safety, just to travel. And just because he's a military man, it still doesn't make a difference. But you still got to look at, the vets who fought. And I mean, we had black people fighting since the beginning of, since they allowed us to fight in this country. And I have to salute them, because you doing all this, and my research showed, like in World War I and even World War II, that a lot of black men, and you even had black women as well, join the military, because they were promised that, they would have, better rights and privileges after serving, and which, again, that was a hoax, and that wasn't true. And because they still had to, follow the same, Jim Crow laws, and, when they got back from serving. And not only the military, big story, Muhammad Ali, when he went to fight in the Olympics, and in the 1960s, that was, and they have the story about how he threw his United States gold medal, into the river. And I've seen videos of that, and I mean, interviews, and he said he actually did that. And I've seen documentaries on Ali, and he actually did that because he was so disgusted that he's representing this country, in the Olympics, and he won the gold medal and everything. But he goes back home, and he's from Kentucky, real racist town, and still, as you see again, 2020, Breonna Taylor, he's from Louisville, and he could not have the privileges as his white counterparts did, and this is a man who won a gold medal, for the country. You doing this for America, and then you go back, America still, treating you, like that. So again, this is our history, and and like I say, I try to go back into history so we can go forward in 2020 and see the similarities, and learn from the past so we can have a better future, and not only a better future, a better present, now, with what's going on, and we just have to again learn and research, our past, and talk to our elders. Talk to our elders. Like I say, my father, he's 85, and I've had conversations with him. I had conversations with my grandfather when he was living, with different things, and you can learn so much, and the personal stuff that I mean, you can read a history book, you can see stuff on the internet, but when you have your elders there, that you can get their own personal experiences, well, I mean, it means a lot. It really do. And that's what now I'm learning, at 49 years old, to do, talking to the elders, and and pull from their information. But man, we come a long way, and like I say, we got a lot going on. It's no lie. Here Labor Day, September 7th, 2020. We got a lot going on in this country, but we have to learn from our past, and we have to learn that you know it don't have to be this way. It don't have to be this way, and we got a lot of forces that trying to divide the country, trying to you know, have it, black, white, whatever, and or whatever. But we can't succumb to that. We can't receive a lot of the hate. We have to receive the good, because at the end of the day, the good wins over the hate. And this was the lesson that I know that our ancestors had taught us, and this is why we're here to today, because they could have gave up, and just imagine, and I think about this often. What if our ancestors just gave up? I don't want to be slaves no more. I don't want to be this and that, or what have you. And we wouldn't be here to this day. And we are a powerful people, that we still here today in 2020. It's not perfect by any means and stuff. And at the end of the day, we need everybody. We need everybody. It's not just black, folks or whatever. The Almighty, he didn't say about this place just need black folks or white folks, whatever. It's the human race. It's a human race. So I'm about to closing on down now. But I touched on the Jim Crow laws. It's a lot, with the Jim Crow laws, and that actually could be something in part two. But those are bases of it, and I just wanted, just put a teaching on that. So again, this Billionaire talk, what I attempt to do is go back in history so we can better understand where we came from and where we at now in this country. Again, there's a lot of division in this country, and the powers, want you to be divided, but do not, receive that. This is this could be a wonderful country. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. And the only way we can make it better is us. Is us. I talk about voting, vote, but not just vote. Get involved. Get involved. I mean, even if you getting involved with that one person or helping that one family, or you could be helping a neighbor or something. We got to get back to humanity. We got to get back to helping each other, loving each other. You see the media, and I'm gonna talk about this too on an upcoming show, how the media wants to, trick you and make you think that there's hate, 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 hate. Yes, it's hate out there. It is hate out there, and you got to be aware. You got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to, protect yourself. I'm all for that 100% because it's a lot of hate out here, but do not let that hate just get inside you, because like a disease, love still conquering all, but at the same time, don't be no fool either. Be defend yourself. I'm not saying this, I ain't talking about that love on your enemy and all that type of stuff. I'm talking about defend yourself. Defend yourself and stay aware, and divine wisdom. Yes, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. And one thing I've been saying and telling people in this era of 45, you really knowing how you know I guess your counterparts feel, your co-workers and your neighbors. And I see on social media, and certain posts, and you see the hate and the evil and the racism, on people posts, and when you have the posts and you seeing the people comments, and it's like you just got to look at them, and it's like, why are you so hateful? Why are you so evil? I mean, it's I mean, did this climate bring this out of you? Why is it like that? And so you go back to what our ancestors dealt with, and it's so crazy getting back to 2020, and you seeing people are more vocal now with their hate and everything, and the climate, the climate we in, it's so reminiscent of what our parents and grandparents went through when they was calling them the N word or boy or what have you, and they couldn't look them in the eye and all this type of stuff. And it's like, is this supposed to make America great again? I mean, is that what you're talking about? But don't be fooled with that. We not gonna even claim none of that nonsense. 'Cause, we are strong people. Our ancestors are strong. We still here. We still fighting, and we will be here. We will be here. What's good, G Free? What's good? We would be here, forever, forever. And that's a beautiful thing to think about. We would be here forever, and not only just being here surviving, we will be here flourishing. So again, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for again sharing this space with me. And thank everybody, for coming through in the live. I hope I got everybody. I spoke to everybody, and thank you guys for sharing the space with me on this Labor Day. And I'll be here Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, I was saying I was going to talk about the Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch is there's something I did on when I did radio. Willie Lynch is have the Willie Lynch letters, but we'll get more in deep with it. That might be a part two with that, but the Willie Lynch, they call it the Willie Lynch syndrome of what we in now, or either the post traumatic slave syndrome. I mean, you have so many um titles with that. So and you can kind of understand where we at now. So again, thank you once again. I'm about to shut it down, and I see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.